Sarah here. I'm very excited. This little guy is out, which means it's a new pen day video. So I don't remember which, did I just put that in ink? Yes. In one of my so-and-so swatching videos, I said that I had one more, I was able to do one more purchase from, that's a C, the second round of some pen selling that I did, and I did an order with Dino Writes. I got 2 pens, which I'm very excited about. Woo. And I got 5 ink samples. Now, unfortunately, we did have some spillage. This one here, the lid has split. They've just tightened it too much. So it's a 4 ml sample. I've lost a ml of ink. And it's gone onto that, but that's okay. So I don't have the box here. I haven't opened these yet. I just wanted to take the bubble wrap off to make sure, you know, just because it was all messy. But I'm super excited, and as inspired by Amanda from Inksplat, I'm going to do a proper unboxing, which I've never done before. These 2 pens are also brands that I've never tried before, which I'm really excited about. And then I'll swatch the inks at the end. So it could be a bit of a long video, but that is all good. I have to say, something that's really kind of cool about Dino Writes is there's an option to test the nib, and then on the invoice sheet they tick that they've done that. But these are the 2 pens that I got, and let's start with this one, which I'm really excited about. I got my first Benu. I've pulled out a bunch of, I'm just going to lower this a little bit. I've pulled out a bunch of pens to do a bit of a size comparison, and then I have chosen 2 Robert Oster inks, and we'll put one in one pen and one in the other. The inks that I've chosen to put in are 2 Robert Oster Melbourne Pen Show inks. One of them is Melbourne Rose and the other is Gummy Shark. But let's start with this. I'm so excited. I've seen people recently talk about the new Benu packaging. I've never had a Benu before, so I don't know. There aren't many stockists in Australia who sell these. And I mean, Dino Writes is from Singapore, but I'm really excited. It's a Pixie, and I actually really like the box. I don't keep boxes. I don't know if that makes me a bad fountain pen person, but I got the Jolly Roger in a fine nib. Now, I just really liked the skulls. I don't know why, but I did. But this is the pen, probably a surprise to no one, that I really like, that I got the Pixie. I really like pocket pens. But this is how it sits in the, there you go. Amanda, I'm inspired by you, but I don't know, what do we do? So I don't need to go through all of this. Important information that I don't read. This is the pen here. And is there anything under there? No, there is not. Oh, does this one not come with a converter? Interesting. Just see if there's anything under here. Nope, I'm just breaking stuff. So that's what it looks like. Now, I actually was able to try a Benu at one of the pen meetups, and it felt so nice. I was really interested in how it felt in the hand and what the step down here was going to be like, but it felt super comfortable. And then they had these on Dino Writes, and it was a little bit cheaper than what it's like in Australia. I'll probably buy around $10, but I'll get into that when we write with it. So it's got the Benu there in gold, and then twist to open. This would be one that we post. Does it feel? It doesn't actually feel that sturdy going on, but then once it's there, it's actually really sturdy, and that feels really balanced in the hand. I think I'd almost want to do it so you see the Bennu pointing up. There is, ooh, can we focus in? That's your nib, some really nice detailing there. It's a Schmidt nib, and I'm trying to see if I can get in the focus. It's a fine nib, and there's the little engraved F there. Unscrew, drop things. There's my cartridge converter pen, the standard short ones. Sorry, I was just rearranging, but that is the converter in there. I didn't think this all the way through, so I won't, well, I'll see how I go, whether I ink it up or I just dip it to try. But that is, I'm going to keep that in there so we don't lose it. That's what our pen, let's just put that, looks like so. We'll do a bit of a size comparison. It's so pretty. So I think an obvious one to compare to would be the Kaweco, probably the most well-known modern pocket pen. And what jumps out at me straight away as obvious is the width of the Bennu it's wider, obviously shorter too, but I'm just looking at this bit down here. And then I wanted to have a look. I always like bringing out one of my little vintage dinkies because it's such a small, cute pen, and I think I just like saying the word dinky. So again, a little bit smaller again, but then if we're looking at your smaller pens, that's your 580. And then if you want to look just next to a pen that's pretty standard, I'm going to bring these down here. That's the Lamy Safari. So I think noticeably smaller than the Kaweco, but then if we go to post, upside down. So because this is wider, this cap here, it's not going to balance as well in my little pen holder here, which isn't a pen holder. I just saw it came out and liked it. But when we look at it there, and I'll keep the Lamy unposted just to kind of see the comparison. So the Bennu Pixie posted is pretty much the same size as the Lamy unposted. And looking at this here, the Kaweco is still a touch bigger, but really not by much. I think the thing I noticed, and it's obvious here, when I was saying when I tried that Bennu at the pen meetup, it had quite a pronounced step down. But if we look at it here and you actually see that section there on the Bennu is almost, or just under, probably double the section of the Kaweco, and I'm guessing that adds to the comfort of it. It's not the most securable post in that sense. Like it can come off quite easily in my hand compared to this one. But when I was writing with it, it felt secure. So maybe it's a bit more of a balance thing. I really like it. So I'm going to see if I have an empty small cartridge laying around so we can actually ink it up. And I will be back. So when I showed you the Who Hill Pico I had, and it came with a pack of just empty cartridges, which is super handy, honestly. But I just wanted to show you, I'm just going to put this back on. It's not lip service when they say they're testing the nib. So I'm just going to clean this out, but check this out. There is actually ink coming out of that, so they actually have tested it, which I appreciate. Not that I thought they were going to lie, but it's kind of nice to know. So I will just clean this and then we can get into it. And I'm going to I'll go the Melbourne Rose for this one. Okay, it is inked up, so let's do a bit of a writing sample. And have I probably done the thing where maybe I haven't chosen the right ink, but alas, are we in focus? So this is the Banu Pixie, the Jolly Roger, and we are inked with, yeah, I should have put a wetter ink in there, Robert Oster, Melbourne Pen Show. What year were we? 2022. So, starting off with the body, it is a resin or plastic body and a Pixie pocket pen. I want to just say the width. I want to just talk about the width. So width, slightly wider than the Kaweco Sport. But it feels really nice. And we'll just say, oh, no, I'll do that later. The reach. So this was from Dino Writes. It cost 89 Australian dollars. The Pixie range seems to go from, yeah, around 90 to 100. And then other models go more. And I just want to put in here, in Australia, limited Benu stockists. And I think the one Australian website I looked at for this one was around the 95. So similar price range, but harder to find. I guess if you're comparing to this in Australia is between $40 and $50. So some ways double the price, but yes, this is probably more on the plainer side of the different Benu colorways, but you can see there's the most amazing resins and glitter and everything else. So in that sense, I can see why there is a price difference. I just really liked this pattern. But I still think, you know, you're still sitting at under $100, pardon me, under $100. And I think it's really cute. The Dance. So it is a Schmidt nib. And my one is, well, obviously they're steel, but it's a fine nib. In terms of what we're looking at there, I don't want to say there's bounce, but you can get a little bit more ink down. And I might just say, Sarah acknowledges this is a drier ink. Another thing in the Dance that I just want to talk about is it feels light. So pen feels light but balanced in the hand. Unsure how secure the posting is. But as I'm doing that and I'm kind of moving it around in my hand, it feels, well, there you go. So as long as you're not a fidgeter, which I am, it should be there, but I do wonder, I could see myself maybe knocking this off a little bit, but that's okay. And also could be a reason that maybe if I ever get another Benu, I go for the slightly bigger and use it in an unposted way. So for the sole, I'm just going to say, in terms, there you go, I just felt it move in my, when I pushed against this knuckle, I felt that move. In terms of the brand, I tried my first ever Benu at a Melbourne pen posse. So it reminds me of pen and ink fun. Which is quite fitting given some of the wild and fabulous pen designs. Available. And then I'm going to finish off the skulls. Just another indication of me thinking I am cool. But actually a dag. So that is our first new pen day from Dino Writes, and I will just press pause. I'm just going to label up my next one and we can go to the Tom's Studio, which I'm also, I'll zoom out, just as excited about. BRB. Okay, Tom's Studio. I love the paper here. This is how it comes. Tom's Studio is an English brand. I'm pretty sure, yeah, I've seen them on Cult pens before. There is some information in here, which just tells us about, I recommend you flush your studio pen thoroughly before use with the nib cleaner distilled with nib cleaner, distilled water, or water with a tiny amount of dish soap, then clean. Yep, Tom designed it. I could write in here that I own it. And there we go. Ooh, QR code for some how-to guides. So this is the Studio in black, no surprise. And I got this with a cursive italic nib. I think it just looks beautiful. So we will do a bit of a closer look, but just pulling out the rest of what's in here. It's quite nice packaging. I like all the... Hi there. I love forests. It never ceases to amaze me that something as enormous and impressive as an oak tree comes from just one small acorn, and I often think of this metaphor in terms of creativity too. The small seed I planted was hand-making my wife Gemma a calligraphy pen to replace the soulless plastic one she was using at the time. I don't need to read the whole thing, but let's see what he finishes. Oh, that's cool. I just realized, so this is an image of the first pen he ever made. It's my hope that my tools will play a part in others planting or nurturing their own seeds, saplings, or mighty oaks in pursuit of creative growth, expression, or just for fun. That's really, really cool. Oh, and then grow like a mighty oak. I'm gonna keep that. That's super cool. All right. So let me get my little doobie walker. It's a metal pen with a gold finial. It's got that it's not matte, it's not gloss, that in between finish. It probably has a word, I don't know what it is. And well, why don't we use this one? That's what it looks, I can't even do it. It's what it looks like next to the Benu, not even in frame. And why don't we actually, I'll bring my Lamy, why won't you balance? I'll bring my Lamy Safari back and let's go the Estabrook Esty, just so you can see size-wise. So that's what we're looking like capped. It's metal, so it is a heavier pen, like quite obviously different to that one. And then if we unscrew, and I just realized I usually do details of the pen first, but this is how we're going. We'll do it this way and then we'll do a close-up afterwards. So that's what it looks like uncapped, which is really similar size to the Lamy, but a bigger nib. And there you go. Really, really similar size and body to the Estabrook Esty, which is really comfortable. I mean, I think it's slightly narrower, but really, really similar there. I wouldn't post this pen. It's just going to be too big for me. I wonder, yep, I'd almost be worried that it was going to scratch the surface there, but it goes on there, but it just makes it too big for me. So I'm not going to go into that one too much more. Let me pop these away. So Tom's Studio has lots of different nib grinds available. I would love to try their Flex one day, but I got have they put the wrong one on there? That says double broad, but I asked for a cursive italic. It says cursive italic on there, so unless it looks it, I've got kind of the straight line across. Well, we'll ink it up and have a look. So gold nib, it's a Bock nib that they use, and it's got a nice little Tom Studio engraving there. Cartridge converter pen, quite a few screws to get that, wow, undone. And there's your converter in there. I don't know if it's not branded or anything with Tom's Studio, but I will fill that up with Gummy Shark and I will clean this nib because I asked them to test this one as well. So I will be back in a moment. Okay, it is clean and inked up and ready to go. Just a classy looking pen. So this is a Tom's Studio black with a cursive italic nib. So I might just write CI in there. And this is inked with Robert Oster Melbourne Pen Show 2024, but I didn't write that in. Gummy Shark. I wonder if this nib's going to be too wide for me. I really love the look of this pen. I wonder. I will do some investigating. But I do like, there you go, you're hearing my discombobulated thoughts live. So the body, it is a black metal body. It's doing a little bit of hard starting there. Simple and classic design and a cartridge converter pen. I don't have much practice with cursive italic nibs. I've got the Pilot Prera, but you know, I write quite small, so it maybe doesn't suit that. But I also do some research in terms of what other pen nibs could fit into there. The reach. So I got this from Dino Writes for, it was on sale, it was around $120. Usually $150, and this is the studio one. So there are studio shoes, and I can see my camera's a bit jumpy. It's actually because it's so windy outside. The windows are shaking a little bit. I can't find any. Oh no, there is one Australian stockist of some Tom Studio pens, but there is one Aussie stockist, but not this model. So really there just aren't many of them here at all. The Dance. So it has a Bock nib, as I said. Bock steel nib. Cursive italic. So what you can see there is your downstrokes, and then you get the really thin cross, which gives you line variation. And I'm just going to put in here maybe a little bit of hard starting. And then the sole. So I've got two things to say about this. What drew me to this pen was the clean and classic look. I am also really enjoying metal pens, and then in brackets, but I won't write it, that aren't too heavy lately. Also, a few years ago, there was another hard start there, I bought my mum a Tom's Studio, it's the one that has the different nibs, but I'll just say like the fine line. So this brand has a connection to mum for me. There we go. I'm just based on like the other cursive nibs I've used, they weren't as wide. Like the Pilot one is really not as wide as this, and I do wonder if this isn't going to suit my writing style, which is really unfortunate. I really love the look of the pen, so I might do a little bit of research and see if I have another nib that will fit in there, because I think the pen itself is really beautiful. I am really liking like metallic pens that are kind of a bit cool to the touch. There's something really nice about that at the moment for me, and I really love how it looks in the hand. I like the black with the gold as well, but I do wonder if this this line width might not suit me, which is really unfortunate. But I will do a little bit of research and see what I've got. Oh, I just noticed, so the finial has like a little dip in it. That feels really nice. All right, so last but not least, it's going to be a long video, this one, but I have 5 whoopsies inks to swatch. I just get all my stuff together. So we have 5 inks from Dino Writes to swatch. I'm going to start with, I'll just zoom in a little bit here, hey? I'm going to start with the one that is broken so I can then put it aside. If you have put a different nib in a Tom Studio pen, can you let me know down below? I would love any advice that you have. I kind of go, he's known for some of his flex nibs, and I do have the Good Blue flex nib unit, and I wonder what that would look like in there. So this is an Ishimaru Bun Kuju pardon me, ink, which I will definitely have have bastardized the pronunciation there. And it's got a really lovely name. It's called Snuggling Pink. I'm just noticing that I didn't have to re-dip for that, which doesn't happen too often. So I'm going to put this to the side because I need to get another vial for that so we don't have more of a disaster. But beautiful pinky purple. I think I have one more Ishi. I did it already. Let me have a look here. Yes, this one. It's another purplish color, but honestly, I really liked the name. So this is another Ishimaru ink. Yeah, I'll get 5 in there. Very similar, but I do like these inks. It's a bit darker, but for me it was the name. They say don't judge a book by its cover, but sometimes I do judge inks by their name. And it is called Pretending Not to Know Grey. I really like it, that kind of grey purple vibe. So did I need a sample of both? Are they similar? Yes, but then they're also different. So that is those two. Next up, I'll do this one. It's actually an ink, a Diamine Inkvent ink. And did I need to get Diamine all the way from Dino Writes? No, but pardon me, I don't remember seeing a swatch of this before, and I kind of liked what it looked like. So it's Wilted Rose. Oh, it smells a bit. It's not a scented ink, but it smells a bit chemically. I thought it was a really interesting brown, amber, warm brown ink. It's from the Black Inkvent. So I decided to add that in. Maybe we'll just do like this. Black Inkvent. My phone has just told me it's only got 20% left. So it should last swatching 2 more inks. The race is on, like Donkey Kong. Let's see. I think that's really beautiful. I'm liking those amber inks at the moment, but this just felt like an in-between of a brown red, which I don't have too much of. So I just wanted to give it a go, and I'm really happy with how it looks there. Next up is a shimmer. So I'm just doing some shaky. And now I will unscrew. It's a Color Traveler ink. and I just liked the look of it. And I don't, you know, Color Traveller is not a ink brand that's readily available here. I've just forgotten what it's called. Oh yes, I remember now. So this is Color Traveller, and it's called Sardine Blue. I need to slow down. Ooh, grey. So it has, I'm not sure if you can see, and I'm just going to close this and then I'll bring it up. It's a gold or bronze shimmer. It almost looks, but it comes across almost pink. But if I bring it up really close, I don't know if you can see there, it's actually like a bronze. And I think I've only ever tried one other ink with a bronze shimmer, and it's one that I really liked for someone who doesn't use shimmerings a lot, and that was Vinta Inks Patangi. Vinta Inks. So I wanted to give that a go, and that base color to me is just so beautiful. And finally, it's the last one is a Dino Writes exclusive that I wanted to give a go. So it's an Ink Institute ink that is a Dino Writes exclusive. And it is called Dirty Strawberry Milkshake. And probably similar to this one, I am just really liking exploring those colours, that colourway, pardon me, at the moment. Where am I going to write this? Do it like this. Dino. Make sure I get the spelling of it right. Yep. By spelling, I mean name. I know how to spell these words at least. Dirty. It feels really nice coming off the nib. This. Why can't I do Y's today? Milk. So quite similar to the Wilted Rose, but this is drying with more of a pinky red undertone, and this almost a little bit more orange. Obviously that's still wet, but this brings us to the end of a very long Dino Writes video where I was able to purchase my first Bennu and my first Tom's Studio. Not sure what, maybe it was the wrong nib choice, which is a little bit disappointing. So I'll see what I can do about that. And then I got 5 4mm samples. The first one, the cap split, so a little bit less there, but still really happy with the choices. We have 2 Ishimaru Bankuru inks, Snuggling Pink, oh, dusty dark pink, beautiful, and Pretending Not to Know grey, and I don't know, yeah, just gorgeous. And then Diamine Wilted Rose, Color Traveller Sardine Blue Grey, and Ink Institute, a Dino Writes exclusive Dirty Strawberry Milkshake. Probably in terms of colours, very obviously in my wheelhouse, and I'm totally okay with that because I really like them. So there we go, super exciting. These are going to fast go, probably all of them, to really wanting to ink pretty soon. Ink up in a pen part of me, and if I end up working out another nib to put on that pen, you'll see it in a currently inked. But yeah, as I said before, if you do know what units fit on there, I'll have a look. It's the Bock nib, so I'll do some research there. But leave a comment below. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on this long video. But I've had a lot of fun exploring all of this, and I look forward to chatting with you again soon.